It's my pleasure to report out on our 2018 Bike to Work Day event for you this evening. Our Bike to Work Day events do have strategic alignment with the city's strategic plan through the transportation outcome area. That's through 6.1 and 6.2. That's safety for all modes of travel and managing traffic congestion, specifically by increasing bicycling as a viable mode of commuting. One of the goals in our bicycle master plan is to create a community where people of all ages and abilities can safely and comfortably ride a bike to where they want to go. And we have our FC Bikes group that works on accomplishing this goal through these 4 focus areas: building infrastructure, educating, activating places, and evaluation. And tonight we'll focus on that activate category. What that really means is providing an opportunity for people to get out and use the great infrastructure that we have so that they're comfortable using it and can use it every day. We have 3 events that fall into this activate category. We have our winter Bike to Work Day event, summer Bike to Work Day, and also our open streets events, which we just had one a couple of weeks ago. Each of these appeals to a slightly different demographic, but the outcome that we're seeking is all the same, and that's to encourage people to get out and use our infrastructure and get familiar with it. This is some of the data that we collect on Bike to Work Day. The gray bar represents the total participation over time, and the orange bars represent the new participants coming out each year to Bike to Work Day. Presenting the data like this, you can see that the new participants are pretty steady over time. It's somewhere between 1,000 and 1,500 on average people that are coming each year. But the gray bars keep going up. And what that tells us is that those new participants each year are coming back in future years and being participants again. You'll also notice that 2017 was the highest participation that we've had yet so far. In 2018, we came close but didn't quite reach that number. This was our 31st annual event. That's one of the longest running Bike to Work Days in the state of Colorado. We had 65 free breakfast stations, which was a new record for us. We also had 165 community partners. That's grown 60% in the past 5 years, and the event wouldn't be possible without all those partnerships. So I mentioned that we had the highest participation in 2017, but we actually had the most visits in 2018. And that's because this time around, those people out participating actually visited more stations per person. Our survey data also showed us that this year we had more youth and more family participation. Another interesting tidbit about Bike to Work Day is that our 5 most visited stations account for 25% of our total station visits. So USDA at Spring Creek, Old Town Square, CSU, New Belgium, and Foothills Assembly, you take those and that's 1/4 of the total station visits that we see. This was an exciting year for Bike to Work Day also because of the great partnership that we had with other departments to advance this climate action initiative called the Take 2 campaign. And so the idea with Take 2 is that citizens could take 2 small actions. In this case, it was replacing light bulbs in their houses and taking 1 trip a week by some mode other than a car to reduce their greenhouse gas impact. So our 5 largest stations were involved in this promotion, and we had a number of other smaller stations participate as well. The result was that we ended up having nearly 2,000 pledges collected and 2,000 bags distributed. That makes Bike to Work Day the single biggest, most successful event of the Take 2 campaigns in one day, reaching that many people. So we always like to look back and celebrate the success of our Bike to Work Day events, but we're also always thinking about the future and looking forward to what's next. First and foremost, our main goal is to continue to grow this event. We've just had such success in growing the attendance year after year, more stations and greater participation, and we want to continue doing that. In particular, we want to increase the participation among women, youth, and underserved populations by continuing to work with our partners in the community that are already doing great work with those groups. And then maybe most of all, we want to continue to include this messaging and emphasis on being able to bike everywhere, because Fort Collins is really a community where you can do that. And even though Bike to Work Day is just one day out of a year, if we can communicate that to people so that they understand you really can bike everywhere, that's something that they can carry forward into the other 364 days.